Welcome to Northwest Profiles, a look at people, places, and events of interest in the inland Northwest.
Forgotten towns whispering their secrets. Delicate artistry made by hand. These are remnants of the past that are being kept alive in modern-day Washington state by a unique brother-sister team, Lone Black Eagle of Coulee City and his twin, Babe Windmasters of Kittitas. Lone Black Eagle, or LB for short, is a master lace maker. He specializes in bobbin lace, as it was produced in Europe between the mid-1500s and the early 1800s. LB says that no one really knows exactly where the art form originated.
Italy says they did it. Belgium said they did it. There's a lot of mystery in it. Figuring out maybe someday somebody will come up with enough evidence to know if it was Belgium or was it Italy that started the lace.
LB says that regardless of which country invented lace making, it began as a uniquely European art form. And at that time, lace was a guy thing.
All lace originally was all made by men. It was made by men, designed by men, and worn by men. Women did not wear lace. And over the years, women finally took it over and started making the lace, and doing some designing, and eventually men's clothing dropped the lace, and then the women's clothing went more into it. See, 3/4 of Europe were lace makers. You go into town, 3/4 of the people made lace. It was like people having computers in their house today, or telephones, or TV. And the farmers would come in, at the end of the day, they'd sit down and weave lace, because it brought income in for the family. They may, in a day's time, they may make anywhere from 8 inches a day. I got a pattern where I can do a yard to a yard and a half in a day. And I've got other patterns where I may do 2 or 3 inches in a day. So it just depends on the complexity of the pattern.
LB has studied under teachers in Western Washington and in Canada. In lace making, the work area is called a pillow. It has a roller which is covered with a piece of paper showing the pattern of the lace. Pins are placed on the paper according to the pattern and are used to anchor the knotted threads that form the lace. The other ends of the threads are held by decorative sticks called bobbins. The bobbins that LB uses are weighted with beads to keep them from rolling when he sets them down. He methodically manipulates the bobbins to create a variety of lace patterns.
Lace making, what you're doing is taking the 2 right-hand bobbins, setting them over the 2 left-hand bobbins. That's called a twist. Taking the center pair, taking the left-hand bobbin and setting over the right-hand bobbin. Twist cross. When I started, you had to pay attention to where your bobbins were moving on the pillow, because you don't look at your bobbins when you weave. You got to watch threads, like driving a car going down the road. You don't look where your steering wheel and your pedals, you look down the road where you're going. And the bobbin lace is the same way. You're looking at the pattern and where your threads are moving in the pattern. It's relaxing. The clicking of the bobbins, watching the movie and weave at the same time.
Lace making was a lively industry for almost 300 years, but in the 1800s, new technology brought changes.
When they brought the lace machines in, the lace machines put the lace makers out of business. So in a magnification, you can tell between a machine-made lace and a handmade lace. Because machine-made lace will be uniform, and the handmade lace will have little irregularities, and plus lace makers put a mistake in there.
Traditionally, handmade lace contains a deliberate mistake. Originally, this was so that the lace maker's work could not be equated with the perfection of God. In this handkerchief made by LB, he wove the triangles so that each would have a line down the middle, except one, which is solid. This mistake is purposely repeated on the other side. The imperfection of handmade art is part of lace-making tradition in the modern age.
People are wanting to pick up these old arts and keep them alive, because with the computer age and everything else, everything's so fast. With lace making, you may weave only an inch in an hour, 1 square inch. When I joined the guilds, there was 10,000 of us. worldwide that were registered lace makers. Now there's probably 20,000 of us. It's not a dead art. It is alive and well.
While LB enjoys an art form of the past, his twin sister, Babe Windmasters, explores and documents towns of the past. Babe calls herself a ghost town hunter, or ghost town-ologist.
What I do is I go all over the U.S., Canada, and Alaska, and I hunt for ghost towns, abandoned towns, mining camps, Pony Express stations, stage stations, forts, military camps, and homesteads. It's a very deep passion that I have. I fell in love with this over 31 years ago.
Babe cross-references information from a variety of sources, like mining district maps, post office guides, old newspapers, and magazines. She has uncovered a surprising number of abandoned towns.
I've been cataloging for 31 years, and I've got over 120,000 names, just what I have found in books and maps and atlases and stuff through the years. Like a state can have 200 or 300 or anywhere up to 4,000 to 6,000 towns. There's paper towns where all they did was get on paper. They never got any further. Then you go your tent towns where people started to settle and no, it didn't work, or they've heard of a strike or something somewhere else and they just left. Then you go to your party ghost town or a semi-ghost town, and that's where you actually got some building structures still left. And then you have your total ghost town where you can have even more buildings. And then you have your tourist ghost town, which is something like Tombstone, Arizona, because it almost came a ghost town. But the people came back and decided to do something with the town. And now the tourist is what keeps that town alive.
With 31 years of ghost town experience, Babe has learned what to look for in a town.
Well, all towns will have general stores, we'll have saloons, we'll have boarding houses, we'll have, homes and all that. I mean, those things are all common. You have a main street and the side streets, all this Liberty stables. Those things are common, but I look for everything and anything. I'll even go walk through the brush and everything just to find even a dentation in the ground where maybe a building had been. Because even those indentations, those cornerstones, you can actually learn through years of experience like I have. You can actually determine pretty much what that building was by the size of them. Because lots of buildings in these towns were basically the same type of a size. Then you can determine which ones are which.
There are many books out about ghost towns. They usually focus on specific regions or industries like mining. Babe is collecting enough information about various towns that she could publish a much more extensive book.
My biggest goal is to get to as many of them as I can and photograph them and get the history put down. A lot of people, and there's even publishers who are waiting for me to put a book together.
Ghost towns can date back to colonial times or be as recent as the 1970s. Babe doesn't want to waste any time in visiting and documenting the ghost towns that still remain.
They're all extremely important and extremely valuable because it's our history and history of our pioneers, and it's going downhill because of vandals so fast nowadays that they're going faster than you can even believe, and they're being lost. And these aren't being recorded. These towns aren't being recorded. Pioneer history isn't being recorded. And I'm trying to get some of this stuff done before my lifetime is over with.
A lifetime of exploring and celebrating the past through ghost town hunting and lace making. Babe Windmasters and her brother Lone Black Eagle share a passion for keeping the past alive.
If you have a story idea for Northwest Profiles, send it to KSPS TV, 3911 South Regal, Spokane, Washington, 99223. Northwest Profiles is a presentation of KSPS Public Television.